Have you ever felt that whisper in your soul calling you to something more, but all the things spinning around in your mind have kept you stuck? Well, what if I told you that choosing excellence could be both easier and more adventurous than you could ever imagine? I am Chelsea DeBruin-Colbert, your host of All Things Excellence. I'm a soul catalyst for excellence who leapt off that corporate cliff and left small town Iowa farm life in my 20s to follow my calling, helping women come home to themselves by anchoring into who they're designed to be. I create sacred containers where women rediscover their truth, design their dream life, and transform those whispers into action. Now you can find me running my business from the soccer sidelines as a coach's wife, hiking my favorite Arizona mountain, or back in Iowa with my family, or on an adventure chasing my next sunrise, hot cup of coffee and journal in hand. Through intimate conversations about the stories, the traumas, and the transformations behind choosing excellence, we're creating a collective healing journey together. I believe in diving deep into personality designs, experimenting boldly, and learning life's greatest lessons through our beautiful chaos. Every week, my guests and I are going to rip down the curtains so you can see behind the scenes of real transformation as we explore what excellence actually looks like. Not just the highlight reel, but that messy middle where the magic happens. Whether you're seeking inspiration to take that leap or already on your journey and craving connection, this is your invitation to join us. So grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready to discover just how close you are to the life your soul is calling you to create. This is All Things Excellence. Hey, All Things Excellence fam. I am so pumped to bring my friend Anna Marie with y'all today to really get going and started on our little Enneaspring series where we are featuring a different Enneagram type every single week. And there is no one better to talk about ones than you. And I'm just going to say this because, of all the ones in the world, it'll offend. You are the most chill one I've ever met, which is why I constantly like, are you sure that you're a one?
We
I
constantly
constantly
questioning me.
question her just because most ones do tend to die on their heels of rightness, not righteousness, rightness, where what they believe is the rule, not their rule, but the rule, and you have never done that a single day in your life that I've known you. And I've known you, we've known each other. She was also on our friendship episode. So,
Yeah, go check out the Galentine's episode for a little bit more insight
yeah.
into Chelsea and I's
Yeah.
friendship and yeah,
So if
all
you want to know all the deets, you can go back to there and you can figure out our views on friendship and all those good things. So, but you are an Enneagram. We don't know. You are for sure in the gut triad. You have you have felt that you are one for how long?
since
Yeah,
2018, I think, when
kind of.
I
Yeah,
discovered the
back
Enneagram.
then. And for
Hmm.
sure, without a doubt, though, your husband is a 9. Yes.
Yes, that's clear.
So we were both married to Enneagram 9s. That's a very good time. There's no denying that.
Hmm.
Okay, so right away, how did you guys found it out because it was starting to trend. And then right away, you being a one, how did you integrate this into your marriage? And you guys, ones are the perfectionists. Their core fear of like being bad, evil, angry, wrong, core desires to have integrity, be ethical, be a good person, core weakness, the anger, the resentment. Do you get that? Do you get the resentment thing?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Oh,
Does doesn't elaborate, just yes.
you are going through a
Yes, I
shifting
do.
season in life right now, right?
Hmm.
And you have shifted from being like kind of a semi-entrepreneurish type of independent contractor, and now you're shifting into working in the corporate world in tech sales. Yeah. And do you feel like
Yep,
your job
that is
shift, you're like,
correct.
I can see some resentment in my job shift in life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I definitely feel resentment with job
Yeah.
shift, but also at times in my life with
Mm,
friendships,
yeah.
I would say. But as far as my marriage, Chris and I definitely right away took the Enneagram and used it to learn about
Mhm.
each other. I think we dove in at first to learn about ourselves, and we can
Yeah.
talk about that, but I think there's, for me, learning more about myself, and I don't know if it's like this for most people, but for me, knowing I can put a kind of a label on it is helpful to
Okay,
me.
talk about that.
I know some people say, like, I don't want to be put in a box of any personality test or
That's all the
Enneagram or
4s and
whatever.
7s are saying that. They just don't want to be restricted or labeled. Meanwhile, I'm like, I think it's
Right.
easier to cope with
Uh,
people. Yeah.
yeah. And just to know that I'm not some freak out here, that there's other people like me is reassuring and
You
nice. I
feel like
like
you're not
that.
as overbearing?
Um, right. And like, especially, I mean, we'll
Yeah.
talk more about the one's inner
Yeah.
critic, but oh, knowing that other people
Yeah.
have that just made me feel not as
Yeah.
alone. So that was revolutionary for me. But then once we learned about ourselves, and for me, the freedom
Mhm.
that gave me, then I started learning more about Chris and Chris about me. And for me, I just felt seen more by him with some of the comments he would make after. I remember coming into um, our bedroom, and he had
Yeah.
left for the day. And he had left a little orange Post-it note on my mirror, like my vanity mirror where I get ready and put my makeup on. And he said, he wrote, "Tell your inner critic to F off."
Oh,
And
that's
I
so
don't know,
cute.
and I thought,
Because he had
and
been
like he
learning
doesn't
about you.
swear.
He'd been learning about you being a
Yeah,
one.
like, right, and he was reading about that I have this nasty
Yeah.
inner critic, and he wrote that, and it was like that was his way of
Saying that.
fighting against this voice that was saying mean things to
Do
his
you think
wife,
nines
right?
don't swear as much because it's just abrasive and disrupts the peace? I mean, I'm a
Yes.
pirate, and Kobe the nine is like, oh my gosh. Which, a video
Yeah,
got
clean
out
it up.
recently. It had to get out from something that happened at the school, and I was muttering F-bombs under my breath, and I was the only one that had a video of all the content. And I was like, oh, shoot. I know.
No.
And so I'm disrupting his peace. But I feel like it disrupts their peace. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
love that. Okay. So, okay, this is very interesting though. So you have ones are known for having the greatest inner critic. People who aren't a
Yes.
one, we feel like y'all can be the most critical, which I don't feel that from you ever. And just for the
Yeah.
record, I never feel that from you. Other ones, I don't even drink alcohol, but sometimes I think about it. But just because I'm like, you guys can keep track of stuff, can't you? But okay, so a common conflict activator for an Enneagram One is being criticized. Why is that?
Mhm.
So you are the most critical to yourself. Y'all tend to be the most critical to everyone else in the world, but the thing that will just
Mhm.
trigger you the most is being criticized. Explain
100%.
this. Okay.
Okay. So, all right. So going through my day, I'll send an email or doing whatever
Mhm.
throughout my day, and then I notice a mistake, and let's say in the email I spelled something wrong. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you
So
piece
you
of,
criticize
you,
yourself?
oh, yeah, in my brain,
Yes.
this voice is like telling myself, I mean, it's me, but it's like, you're so stupid. Why would you do that? Like, you couldn't take 2 seconds to proofread your own. Oh, you're so critical of everyone else, but you do the same
Okay,
thing
when
since this,
I
blah, blah,
send an
blah, blah, blah.
email and I catch that I did something wrong, or I post on social media and I catch something I did wrong, my first thought is, Jesus, I swear to you, if you do not keep those Enneagram ones and their criticalness about the fact that I put an L in the wrong place or I posted the wrong thing at the wrong time or the whatever, if you don't keep them in their place, and if you have all these ones
Mhm.
that seem to just love to follow me come flying into my DMs, I swear to you, like they're all going to meet you today. Like I just know, I'm like,
Yep.
y'all best be keeping at bay. Back down. Like I
Yeah.
get so mad
Yeah.
knowing that like every proofreader and their brother is coming for me. I'm like, and you get mad at you,
Right.
and you're like, I'm
I
dumb.
get mad at me.
I knew better, or what? Like
Oh, yeah.
why?
I don't
It just
know.
happens.
That's just what happens. I don't know why it is. But then, so let's say I got an email from my boss after that said, Anna Marie, you really need to pay more attention to detail because there were several, there was a typo in your email. I would,
Did you really get an email from your boss saying to look at the typos?
no, no, no. This is
Oh, because I'm like, I
hypothetical.
would
I
get
don't
fired.
make mistakes in
For two reasons. One,
just kidding.
definitely didn't proofread that. And two, I
No, no, no. This is
oh,
hypothetical.
in
I
your
don't
head, you're
really.
so sure your boss is going to email you back for being a moron for spelling something wrong.
No, but like let's say
Oh.
she did. I'm talking about someone being
Oh,
criticized,
like if you got the
critical of
messages that I get every single day on Instagram about how I spelled something wrong.
yeah, that's why I would never post something on Instagram. Right? Like I unless I'm for like unless I feel peer pressure to post on Instagram, I don't want to because I have to think of what to say and it's not perfect. And then, oh, what if I misspell something? And it's like by the time like why even post something because it takes so much
And I don't even
bandwidth.
think about it.
Right.
I probably should
Exactly.
think about it.
Yes, I think you should.
I probably should have not thought about it before. I was like, oh, you guys all need this video? Here you go, take it. And then 2 days
Mhm.
later, I was like, oh man, I was muttering F-bombs on
Yeah.
that video. That should not have
Right.
went out to people. Nobody could hear me. It was just to myself. Like, this is effing crazy. What the F is happening? But
Yeah.
yeah, probably shouldn't have.
So, like, I wish I could provide a service if it
Oh,
paid, right? That for all the people
oh
I
my
love
gosh.
in my life, I could
Oh my
proof
God.
their stuff, like, have a filter that, to
Dude,
protect them. Like,
literally.
I just want to
In the perfect world where I made so much money that I could pay you $1 million a year to proof my life, like I would do it. Like
right.
what is that? If you
Exactly.
could be my Olivia Pope. Oh, I think she cleans up the mess. But like even better than her because you would catch it before I got out. That's right.
Exactly.
You'd be good, so
Exactly.
good at that. hmm
Yeah. That's what I would love to
I
do.
bet it is a job. You just got to find the right
Yeah.
person that pays the right amount. hmm
Right.
hmm I
Exactly.
mean, you do.
Exactly.
You're busy
Yeah.
now. You're very, very busy. But when you weren't as busy, I loved sending stuff over to you to find my mistakes.
Exactly.
hmm
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
love doing it and being a part of the creative process with my husband Chris. He
Mm.
sends out a lot of emails and he doesn't have that attention to
hmm
detail and he posts a lot. And
hmm
so I used to proofread every one of his emails and I just don't have
Yeah.
time now. And so it's like a little piece of my brain is unwell because I know he's just shooting off emails that are
And I'm
just
putting out
horrific.
packets that are just mistakes left and right. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it kind of stinks
Yeah.
that you went and got like a really hardcore, serious, fancy job because the rest of us now are just, now the world knows that we're actually hot mess expresses without you not catching
Thank
all of
you.
our stuff. Okay, another one of your triggers is when others do not follow through with their responsibilities. How does that feel to you?
Well, for me, it's like if you say you're gonna do
Yeah.
something, do it. And
I get that as an eight
um,
though. I'm like, that's called integrity.
yeah, right. And one thing lately that has been coming up for me is when people
Yeah.
reschedule. So hear me out, everyone listening to this. This is very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Can we talk about rescheduling? Then
So
let's talk about ghosting or like lying, saying why you're canceling. Let's talk about all that right now. Yeah.
I don't even care. Like, you can lie to me. I don't really care about that so much as the fact that you are rescheduling or
Yeah.
canceling. Well, that person that you're rescheduling or canceling on has probably turned down a million other things
hmm
to do. Um, and
Yeah.
they've,
Agree.
had to contact a bunch of people to put whatever in
hmm
place to have this get together with you
hmm
or whatever. And so when you're like, oh, I don't feel like it, let's just
hmm
reschedule. No,
So rude.
like that,
So
it's
rude.
so rude. And, um, I, like recently there was I was booked for a weekend and who I was booked with had to
Dude, I had
cancel.
that. I'm not even supposed to be here right now.
And I was fine with it, gracious, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, totally understand," but it got me
Mhm.
thinking how this weekend had been booked for months and how I looked back of, like, how many things I turned down with people,
Mhm.
and it just
I'm with you.
yeah, that
Yeah.
really is a pet
Yeah.
peeve of mine, I'd say.
My friends that I was
Yeah, but
supposed to be with this weekend will probably listen to this, so don't be weird about it, guys. But that's why I was upset. Like I was upset, and then they were kind of upset that I was upset, and I was like, well, I also had other things, and like I understand like I don't have kids, so it doesn't seem as valid the things that I had to turn down, but they were still really, really as equally important as valid to me. And when I make a commitment, I don't back down from that. You know what I mean? Unless something
exactly.
better be really, really crazy for me to
If I cancel or
it must be
reschedule,
nuts.
you better believe it's
Yeah, especially when it
horrific,
was
whatever happened.
quite a ways in advance. Yeah. So I
Right.
we being in the 891 triad, we're in the justice triad. So I like to ask her frequently whether she's a 1, a 9, or an 8 because I constantly can see you in all the
Mhm.
different ones. So I think for anybody that's like, "Oh man, bouncing around," but you know that you're in the gut triad, right? You know that you're in the anger triad. Constantly with
Yes.
you, I'm like, "See, here's where you do have some of that 8ness." Because I'm always like, "Are you when you get into your perfection mode, you are you love Dave Ramsey. You're really good at
Yes.
it. You're really good at budgeting. Like even in our former life when we did something else together, I would have you train my team on all of the money management because you're just really good at all of that stuff. It comes to you naturally. Um and
Actually, I would say it doesn't come
you
to me
don't
naturally. I had to
you made
learn
yourself learn it.
that, and
Yeah, you learned
yeah,
how to be a really good steward.
yeah,
Yes, correct.
yes,
Yeah. And you did all the work. You read the books and you did the things. I read the book because she told me to,
yes.
and because I respect her, I read the book. And it was
And I would say, just while we're
yeah.
on the topic, real quick, like, Dave Ramsey is for those that aren't naturally good at money
Mm,
management. I would say there's other people that are better suited for those that are good at money management and want to
yeah.
level up. So that's kind of
I
where
do think
he
he
is
is
some
good for the average American. The average American who is
he
on
is
two fixed incomes in this like 40 to $100,000 range a piece. Like I think he is excellent. So
excellent.
excellent, right?
I think even if you are great at money management, there's probably someone in your life that
Hmm.
isn't, and you should read Dave Ramsey's book so that you can then pass along that to other people
Yeah.
that aren't, that are in your circle or family, but
And he has really great tips.
aren't great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you follow all of his rules?
I would say no. I follow the baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
His baby steps are like my
Yeah.
guide,
They're great.
and I think they're
Yeah,
great
they're
for
great for
everyone.
everyone. Agree.
So,
Because there are things where it's like, man, I love my God bless Southwest credit card. You know what I mean?
right. I
I
love
love
my
my points.
points. So,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
things like that, especially with Southwest switching to paid bags here in a minute. Better have that SWCC
exactly.
if you fly Southwest a lot. So sometimes I think like,
Yes.
oh, she's a 1 because you manage your resources really, really well. And I'm like, is that her 1 managing her resources perfectly like she thinks they're supposed to be managed? Or is that her 8 that goes more into her 5 to make sure that her resources are being managed really, really well? So that's where I always dance around with it. And then we've looked at you also being a 9 because the difference between a 1
Right.
and a 9 is it's like, are you creating the order because you have a desire for things to be perfect? Or are you creating the order because then you have more peace?
Right. Right. And this is makes a great point. Like, I have Chelsea's just my friend, so we get to chat
Mhm.
all the time. But if she wasn't my friend and I found her on her podcast or whatever means I
Mhm.
found her, like, I would book, that's my first thing I would book with you, is that typing
Mm.
session, because we don't, that quiz doesn't tell you anything. You have
No.
to really talk through, at least in my experience, you have to talk through some stuff before you really
Yeah.
figure it out. And once you have a better clue, it is eye-opening. And so I'm just so thankful that you have put in a lot of work with me, Chelsea. It's
We've
like
sat on beds in
really
hotel rooms for
helpful.
many moons and talked through this.
Yes.
Yeah, very conversationally.
Yes. Just your ability to ask great questions to discover more and more and peel back
Mhm.
layers. It's quite the art that everyone should experience.
When I was little, my uncle, it drove him insane. He would always be like to make little girls ask questions. And so then now I always find it really entertaining that my job is to ask great
Mhm.
questions. Okay,
It
so
is.
feeling all your oneness. When a one
Mhm.
feels safe and secure in their environment, they go to seven, and a seven is
Yes.
the adventurer, but in a very one way. So tell us what it's like to
Mhm.
be party coop.
I love it. I love that you remembered that. So Chris says, "Oh, are you party coop? Are you party?" Because I feel like almost like I flip a
Yeah.
switch almost, and I give myself permission to have fun.
Okay, but what has to
And
happen
then
in your environment to give you the permission to have fun? Because so you don't innately chill. Like you innately, would you say you're innately a little more round type? Yeah.
yes.
And you have a
Mhm.
set of rules in your head that you
Understand.
have to follow. Yes.
Yep.
That no one made up but
Yes.
you.
Mhm.
But even though they
Right.
are your rules, you feel like they're the rules.
They're rules for me, and they don't have to apply to everyone, but that's what
But they are
I
your
live by, and I think that's what maybe sets me apart from other ones is, like, my
Yeah.
rules might not work for someone else. So, yes, like this is my best way to live that works for me, but that might not apply to everyone and I might learn something new from someone else, so I need to be open to hearing from other
W-
people and
Where
what
did you
works for
get that?
them.
Where do
Where
you
did I
think?
get
Because
what?
I don't know if I've met another one yet that has I don't know if I can call it compassion. I think it's the ability to realize that what you view as the rules are actually just your rules. Like I don't know if I've met another one yet that hasn't. I've met a lot of ones and they all carry a this is the rule. And I'm like, no, this is your rule.
I think because I've lived long enough and I've been wrong enough times that it's a realization of like, oh, maybe I don't know
Yeah. Do
everything.
you feel, but a lot of
No,
people are older than you and they don't have that. Do you feel like did you surround yourself with somebody that you let speak to your blind spots? Do you think that it's like because you have a stronger wing nine that it caused you to stay quieter longer than most one wing twos?
I think it's probably a strong wing 9,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Um, and perhaps it goes back to
Yeah.
parenting and maybe my dad
Yeah.
telling me like, "You're not right,"
Because your dad's a
and
five
that my
who
dad's a
just basically
5
needs to know and be
and
competent and have the information. Mm-hmm.
mhm, and so and he has no problem telling me when I'm wrong and humbling
Yeah.
me, and so I think maybe I just took carried that with
Yeah.
me. It was like, "Okay, humble yourself," and, like, "You don't
Yeah,
know
and you never felt
everything."
like so here's something I think that's cool is you never once felt like he was being critical. You felt like he was helping you be better.
I would
You
not
don't
say that. I
so
would
because
I
there are
remember
people in my family that would say that both of my grandmothers were allegedly very critical, and I'm like, I've never felt one day in my life they were critical. I felt like they were just always helping me be the most excellent human on earth. But you do feel like
so
it,
I remember
yeah.
I probably told you this maybe 2 years ago. I was driving and I can remember the exact like where I was and my I'm on the phone with my dad and he says, "You know, I'm really proud of you." And he did not doesn't say that. So I was
Yes.
like, "Whoa." And he goes, "Despite your
Yes.
shortcomings,
Yes.
I'm really proud of you despite your
That is the most
shortcomings."
five
And
wing
so
six
I
thing to say because a five has all the intellect and a six is a natural born pessimist because they naturally see the shortcomings and the pitfalls and
Mhm. Mhm. And I just laughed like maybe 10 years ago, I probably
yeah.
would have cried, but I because of the Enneagram and I know
Mm,
things now, I
yeah.
understand people more, and so I
Yeah.
laughed and I was like, "Thank you so much." That I could take
Yeah.
I'm proud of you and separate
Yeah,
it
you could hold
from
the good and you could hold the good and the bad at the same time. Do you think it was a sweet combination maybe of your parents that did it? Because then you have your mom who's an Enneagram
Yes.
9 who may she and Enneagram 9s have the ability to stand in the shoes of everybody and help other people see their perspective. So it's like while your dad was being very opinionated, your mom also kind of like
Yes.
came alongside to go like, let me help you see where he's coming from with this opinion.
Totally. Yes. And it's like this great
Mm-hmm.
pair that
Yeah.
my dad is critical and hard on me, and then my mom thinks I walk on water, right? And
You actually
in
created the
all
water for your mom.
yeah. Yeah, she's like, "You're" like, I couldn't have low self-esteem because of my mother, like, she's like, "You are the most beautiful thing in the whole world," like, I don't have to have any outside validation, I have the validation of my mother who thinks I'm
Write your own
gorgeous.
affirmations. She just tells you every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Who needs
When you have
affirmations
Nan.
when you have yeah,
So her love
yeah,
language must be words of
seriously.
affirmation. Your wait, what is your love language again? I can't remember this suddenly. Oh, duh. Oh my gosh. I don't even know why I couldn't think about that. That's obvious. Yes. Sometimes
My
we,
second
we used to
words of
travel for
affirmation.
work together, and I would make sure halfway that I would give her hugs and just hold her little hand in the
Mhm.
middle of a thing since it'd been days since she'd been around her husband.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And my love language is quality time.
That's
So
like
what?
how knowing knowing each
Mm,
other's enneagrams when you're close
yeah.
friends and knowing how to talk to each
Yeah.
other and it's just so valuable for
So
interpersonal
let's talk about the
relationships. Go
text
ahead. Yeah.
thing. It has yeah, this is like
Yep.
perfect. So Kobe has some of this as well. So Kobe and Coop are the exact same coin, but their dominant side is opposite sides of the coin. Potentially. We don't know. They're the same person.
Mhm.
Y'all are just both so much 9 and so much 1. I don't even care anymore which one you are because you're so much of each of it. It doesn't
Right.
even matter. 49.5 and
Mhm.
50.5, like I don't even
Yeah.
care. So you both have this thing. Both of them, y'all, have this thing where my 8 who has no filter, no thoughts, no whatever is like, I just saw a spaceship fall out of the sky and then I walked out of my car, had lunch with the aliens and and then now I'm gonna go walk the dog. Like it will be that kind of an insanity text message that I can.
It's like a text, I would call it a Chelsea text bomb goes up. And it's, you know, hitting enter as many times as possible, right? So it's like 50 texts instead of one long
Because
text.
it's like as I
No, but
it's like as a
yeah,
thought, like I text as I talk and think.
right.
And that's how
And I love
they
that.
come out in little segments like that. And then I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! Send!" And then they were like,
Yeah.
"Yes, we're here, and we want to talk to you." And I'm like, and I would send.
Uh,
Absolutely no way, send.
mhm.
So you like send it almost like
Yep.
it's being narrated out of a book. And
Yes.
both my husband and Anna Marie, sometimes I get responses back, and then sometimes Kobe will just respond when he gets home, and I'm like, I need you to respond to the last 77 text messages that I sent you this afternoon.
Mhm.
And we've had a
Mhm.
conversation about how it's like it takes so much in y'all's brains. And you guys are kind of hard on yourself. Like you, one, think like I can't even respond to that right now.
Yeah.
Bandwidth.
I can't respond to that. I can't get for me, as part
Hmm.
of it is he just gave me this full narrative,
It
and
was
I love
chapter
it so
37 of a
much.
story.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So me saying, "Ha ha,"
You don't feel as adequate.
it doesn't I don't think my response, a ha maybe I just have time for a
Hmm.
ha ha, but that's so rude in my
And I'm like,
opinion,
I
like,
would
it's
rather
rude.
have a love on the last one that went out than a nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, so rat what Chelsea's getting at is that rather send the "ha ha," I just said nothing because there's no adequate response
Yeah.
that I can give to that, and then I
Mhm.
forget about it, and so Chelsea's like, Are you
Yes.
alive? It's like
It's been
it goes
days.
on
Are
and
you
on. Yeah.
dead? And she's like, shoot, I didn't actually respond to that initial text message. And then now I have a little bit of guilt and shame because I didn't respond to the initial text message. So even though today you text me and you were like, hey, how's your arm? I can't respond to that because I didn't respond to the text 5 messages ago in chapter 37 of her story about the insane thing that happened to her the other day. Is that real? Okay, so
150%.
you getting so deep with me on this, I took
Mhm.
you when my other sister-in-law, who's Enneagram
Mhm.
4, was here. And our other sister-in-law is just like you and Kobe. She might be a 9, she might be a 1. It doesn't even matter. I would say she's predominantly a
Mhm.
9 because she's going to not respond at all before it. I do think peace comes right before perfection. They're a fine line, but it's peace but right before perfection. And the bandwidth is so
Yeah.
limited. Like the bandwidth of a 9 is so extremely limited. And so I do see that for her as
Mhm.
well. But I told my sister-in-law, the 4, about this conversation that I had with you. And I was like, so in summary, Sam doesn't respond because she doesn't love us. We are just overwhelming.
Right. Yeah. But I love it. I love the
And she was
overwhelm.
like, wait, seriously? And I was like, yes. Even my mom was like,
Mhm.
wait, for real? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes I wish I could be more like y'all because I get a different level of anxiety about text messages piling up because I don't like seeing them unread. And then even though like I get a different anxiety about feeling guilty about not responding to them right away. And then I don't know. It is it's like and then I respond but then I'm angry because then it like I don't know.
You're angry. What?
I
What's
get
this anger?
well, like I get angry because I'm like, well, I've literally said in 3 different ways, I'm super crazy busy right now, and then you keep
You keep
texting me
texting
and you
me.
keep wanting more out of me and I literally am like I am so busy, but then my need to not have these unread text messages is so high.
Mhm.
You know, right.
Right.
So then I get angry because I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you doing that? Like why are you doing that right now?
So the only person I would get angry at is myself because I can't handle those texts. Like that's the inner
Hmm.
critic. And they're like, the inner critic's like, you can't even handle text messages
And
for
I'm
free.
like, you mother
Like,
trucker, will you please stop texting me right now? Stop. I literally said stop, and you're not stopping. And now I'm gonna have to read it, but not read it because I would like to leave it
yep.
unread, but I can't because then I'm gonna look at it all day and it's gonna linger for me emotionally. It makes me crazy. And so then I try and add it to like now I add it to my Asana or my daily checkbook, but usually my Asana task manager. So that does help me a little bit with that. But yeah, I don't get critical at myself. I get angry at them because I'm like, I just gave you a boundary and you're walking all over it, you psychopath. But even in that, you would
Yeah.
criticize yourself. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Okay. So let's see, y'all. I sent her quite a series of questions so she could just mentally prepare. Um, okay, I think this is a good one per what we've been talking about. So let's talk about your strong inner critic. How do you manage or quiet that voice, especially when you feel you've made a mistake or you missed a goal?
Hmm.
Is that where some of your resentment? That's
I
so
don't think
loaded.
so.
Because I'm like, you're kicking butt and
Yeah.
taking names at life right now, but there was a season where you weren't. And so I'm like, does resentment build because you were missing goals and you got mad at yourself about it? And then now you're kicking butt with ease. And so now you resent the season? Was that a lot? Sorry, I'm
Possibly.
having
I'd
so
have to
many.
I'd
This
have
is
to
what a little bit, good thing it's recording. This is a little bit of what a clarity coaching session with me is like, because then all of a sudden it all starts lining up in my head and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
how's that?
Yeah, so for that
Yeah.
question, the thing that I go to that makes me feel
Hmm.
at peace, I guess, like, it's all like God,
Hmm.
like, that's the only
Hmm.
thing
For real.
I can go to sometimes is
Like,
like,
God help
okay,
me feel better about this.
yep, and actually, it's more of going to God, getting in nature, seeing the bigger picture, I guess. That is what helps me. It's like
Mm,
gaining a little bit of perspective of like
yeah.
whatever I'm frustrated about, it actually doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is, you know, God and getting out into nature. Oh, this is just a blip.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter.
So you try and like
Yeah.
really pull back and take a higher view.
Yep.
So then the flip
Yes.
side of that, how do you feel like, let's talk about right now, your job that you're in. How do you feel
Hmm.
like being a one is helping you? Because I think, from my personal perspective, you're kicking butt and taking names really quickly in a brand new career field that has a lot to
Hmm.
learn. Like, there's tech sales is heavy, man. Like, there's a lot of details to learn. Yeah. How do you feel
Yeah.
like being a
It
Enneagram
is.
One is helping you in that with walking into the tech world, tech sales world?
I think
Mm,
organization
mm-hmm,
is crucial.
mm-hmm,
Just there's a lot of moving pieces, there's a lot of
mm-hmm,
learning and staying organized and staying in a
mm-hmm.
routine and um, creating habits that set you up for success. So
Mm,
there's that. Um, but the thing that tends to hold me back with being an
yeah.
Enneagram One is um, not being able to go into something knowing it's going to be done perfectly, right?
Yeah.
And so it's that
Yeah.
procrastination, or it's very difficult to start something without me knowing all the details and really thinking things through before jumping into something. So
Because how do you
what's
balance that? How do you balance this setting extremely high standards for yourself? Because like yes, you're called the perfectionist, the reformer, whatever, but I do think it's for a reason, right? Like we need people like you in our life to increasingly throw that
right?
bar up. So where do you find this balance of always raising the bar for yourself and everyone else in the world and allowing room for the mess?
Right. So for me, it's just getting older, right?
Yeah.
It's in my 20s, I was in corporate
Hmm.
America and I easily see how things could be more efficient, how things are done very like, oh, this could be, I could improve this and it would change everything and it would be
Yeah.
so great. And I see that very
Yeah.
clearly. But as you know, your listeners might know, it's very
Hmm.
difficult to make big changes in corporate
Mm.
America. Sometimes you just have to play the game and go with
Yeah.
the flow. And so in my 20s, I was coming against and trying to
Mm.
fix everything and saying, this is wrong, this needs to be fixed. And now I have some wisdom behind
Yeah.
me. So, like, I know that I see where it can be
Yeah.
fixed, but I know that I'm probably not going to fix it.
Do you
And that's
feel like
okay.
so the corporate world versus being an independent contractor entrepreneur, you obviously have less control, right? Like you're saying right now, you're like, oh,
Correct.
I have less control. Like I see all these places that were very inefficient and that we could have a lot better systems, but there's nothing I can do about it because you got to play the game. And you're a cog in a
Right.
very giant wheel. So do you feel like it's helped you have more grace for yourself in general? Or do you feel like then you put it somewhere
Yes.
else in your life?
I think I think it's not being a one, it's knowing I'm a one,
Mm,
right? Knowing the
mhm,
Enneagram helps
mhm,
because I can say, okay, obviously I feel a certain way, but look at all these other people that are getting by just fine in this system that's inefficient, but look, it's going just fine and it has been
mm.
for
So
decades and
you look for
decades.
the
So,
evidence as to why, even though it's a hot mess
yes,
express, everyone's still going to function in for it. I
right.
love that. Look for the evidence. So Enneagram sevens are known as like the adventurers. They have a lot of fun. When they become stressed, they reflect a one, right? They get a little bit rigid. So even if you're a seven, this could be sticking out to you. So in that, so one of your tactics is that you definitely look for the opportunities that are there regardless of the pitfalls. When
Yes.
you get there and you're stressed and you're overwhelmed because you're seeing all these inefficiencies in the world and people, what do you do to kind of climb down off of that overwhelmed stress zone? How do you like you're looking at all of those, but like what else do you do? Like what are specific practices? I feel like you probably have daily practices that you do so you're not having mental breakdowns. Because it could build up, right? Like as a one, it's like eights when they're
Right.
mad, they obviously spat it out loud. Nines pretend they're not mad, and ones hold it in and they fester it. So you kind of hold in that anger and you do fester about it a little bit, maybe roll it around in your brain more than other people would. And you're looking for the opportunities,
Mhm.
but then what are practices that you're doing to emotionally help yourself on a
Right.
day-to-day basis to chill?
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, it's before
Mm-hmm.
work, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I sit down and I pray over my day. I pray over a lot of different things. And I actually have a God thought card at my desk that says, "When my day is laced with chaotic interruptions and disarming distractions, I call on his peace and he will calm my heart." So,
Yeah.
like, I just have little reminders and then I go for a
Mhm.
walk, or just get away. And that, just that
Yeah.
reset button is
I mean,
what
for
I
you,
need.
it definitely is your constantly staying grounded in your faith with God and letting him
Mhm.
remind you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I just don't see that's hard. I always wonder how people function
Yeah.
without
I don't
that.
know. I literally don't know.
I didn't grow up with
Yeah.
that, but now that I have that, I'm like, how would I even
Yeah.
function
Yeah.
without that?
I see why
So
people feel lonely
it's
that don't
very,
have it. So, because
mhm,
when a one is in stress, they go to the four, but they go to the four in a way where you feel like no one else can understand you, right? You're the one, you're honestly the one that helped me realize a couple people in my life were for sure ones, because when
mhm,
they are stressed, their tendency is to go like nobody else in the world understands me, nobody else gets this, my situation's really unique. We have a friend that was like developing a platform, and I was like, yeah, but it's kind of like all these other ones, and honestly the price, etc. And she was like, no, this one, there's no other one like this. Do you remember when we were talking about that and you're like, well, she must be
mhm.
a one, because when a one is stressed they go to that four and they pull in that uniqueness. What is that like for you?
Yes.
Because I don't see
Um,
you do that either. Like I feel like you have like
I
the
don't
most, but it's real, right? Like you still experience it.
I feel like I experience it, but I would never inconvenience people with it. I don't want to inconvenience
This is the
people
difference
with,
between a wing nine and a wing two.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
wing two doesn't
A
care,
wing
but
two is more people think that the highly aggressive people are Enneagram eights. I'm like, no, they're probably one wing twos because they feel like it is their job
yeah,
to make sure that the
yes,
world knows how they should be living.
right. And I don't want to even have anyone know I'm spiraling. I want to do it in my own
Yeah.
cocoon so that it doesn't affect anybody. And then I don't want to talk to them until I'm on the other side and can be happy and positive and all things are great again. I don't want to inconvenience people with
Yeah.
anything. Like, why should you have to suffer
Yeah.
with me when I can get
You
through it
know
on
that I
my own?
only have arguments for like potential eightness with this statement right now, but it's fine. We'll leave it for a different day. Only because I am very like that. Like I'm trying to work on just because of what I'm developing and building, obviously with this online and everything, I'm trying to work on being a little bit more vulnerable in the moment instead of just falling off the planet completely. And then people in my life are reaching out like, are you okay? Are you dead? And so I'm trying to go like, no, I'm actually not okay, but like I will be fine. And then I think it's so hard because then people want to help you. And then I had a specific situation where I was like, no, I literally don't want to talk to anybody. Like I just need to sort through this by
Right.
myself. And then that person was like so offended. It's like, oh, and I'm like, now I have to manage your emotions because you're offended that I
Right.
just don't want your help and I just need to do this by myself because I go to like a five
Exactly.
cocoon. Like I go to that Enneagram five and I just want to be alone. But I don't know, like maybe it's my wing nine, but I also see it as my five where it
Mhm.
just, yeah, maybe it's a wing nine thing. It's like I just want to, I don't need, I feel that with you. Like I don't need what is that? You don't need a crowd to like sort out your emotions.
Right.
Honestly, don't it's
Right.
I don't know. Then I get snappy though, and I'm like, it's nobody's
Like,
business.
yeah, don't like, I just wanna handle this
Yeah.
on my own. I've come out the other side
Hmm.
many a times,
Do
so,
you ever feel
yeah.
like though, as your friend, in that like yes, you don't want to bother people, but do you ever feel like you could move through something quicker if you did go to people sometimes?
And I don't feel like that. Honestly, like, you have the best approach as far as friends. Like, you just send me a
Mm.
Starbucks card and say, "Hey, this medicine
Yeah,
ball's on me," and I'm like, I feel you're in it with me without having to
yeah.
suffer with me.
I mean, I
Does
don't
that
ever feel like I'm suffering with you, ever. Like I don't, but I think that's
Yeah.
me. But I do think I get what you're saying with that because I do feel that the other giant percentage of the world feels like then they're being pulled in to like the trauma and the process. Whereas I think I'm a random unique person that I like I'm not wired I'm like uniquely wired that I don't like feel that with people. Do you know what I mean? But I know most
Yeah,
people, right? Like I've got a lot going on in
I
my
do.
life and I'm
I
like, I'm not telling, I mean, you know, but like other people don't know because I'm like, I can't process their emotions about my emotions.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I do feel that with you, like, you can not take on what I'm feeling, and you can be an outsider, like, processing with me and not
Yeah.
take it on, and so I have come to you more than I would a normal like, someone
Yeah.
else,
Do you feel like
right?
that's hard for ones though?
'Cause Yeah, absolutely. Like, and just to admit even that you're going through something
Oh,
is
because you would actually have
embarrassing.
to admit that it's not perfect.
Right.
So yours is admitting that it's not perfect, but as an eight, I understand what you're saying because I'm like, then it's almost like admitting it's out of control.
Yeah, and it's giving power to it almost. Like, it's
Yeah.
giving power to the
Yeah.
situation. Like, I'd rather just get through it instead of I don't even like to
Mm.
say, my shoulders hurt right
Hmm.
now and the diagnosis is 18 months or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even want to tell people that because I don't want to
Yeah.
speak it
And I don't want,
and
yeah,
give
I've
it
always said like if I do not I do not have cancer. My brother had cancer, which is why I go to this. Like I've always said like if I ever had cancer, no one would know because I don't need the energy of their complicatedness.
Yes.
You feel that?
Yep. I feel that.
That's so interesting. Huh. I wonder if that's in our just our justice gut triad alone that we
Mm-hmm.
tend to do that. Hmm.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're an eight. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna tease her about it for all of end of time, guys. Like I'm forever and ever and ever. And here's the reason why. Here's the reason I will tell you all this because no offense to all the ones that are absolutely going to be offended by this, but I have never felt a day in my life that I ever have to worry about some crazy rule. Like I never worry about what I say to you. I never worry that I'm breaking a rule. I never, but like most ones I do experience that where it's like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, like if they find out, you know, I mean, yeah, it's like even on social media, it's like, you know, like obviously I'm anti-seed oils, so God forbid that I eat freaking In and Out and I had seed oils, then everyone's gonna come for me that I'm not following my own rules of life. And I'm like, well, I like In and Out, guys. I,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what do you want me to
Yeah.
do? I just want to live my freaking life, okay? 80/20, chill. Go keep your own.
And I think maybe it's going into that 7 of maybe, I don't
Yeah.
know, like, I have these rules, but also in my head, I'm like, people just wanna have
Yeah.
fun. Like, in my head, I'm like,
Mm.
"Who cares that she just did that? She wants to
You
have
know what?
fun."
Maybe it
Like,
is that.
just 'cause you don't the voice is saying, "Just because you don't wanna have
Yeah.
fun doesn't mean
Maybe
other
it is that. Maybe
people
it is
can have
like
fun."
literally your growth path. You've learned to chill out quicker than most ones. Could it be that? Where you can
Yeah.
embrace party coop.
100%. Like, and I can embrace party coop for other
Yeah, you
people.
can.
Even though I'm not
Yeah.
party coop at the moment, I
Yeah.
can say, like, "Who cares? She wants
Yeah.
to go do
Like
that."
We
let them
don't
live their life.
drink because we don't want to destroy
Right.
our brain. Kobe said I need to stop saying that like that. I'm like, but I literally don't want to destroy my brain. Do you know what it does to your brain when you drink alcohol?
If so and so wants to go
I don't
out,
care.
who
I don't
cares?
care.
Like they
Like, I don't care,
can.
right? And you don't feel that it's your job to make sure that everybody knows that it's killing their brain.
No, I'd rather not
Yeah,
tell
because you
anyone.
don't want the conflict of it with your wing nine. Your wing nine doesn't want
Exactly.
to. So I was
Exactly.
at this wedding
I
a
don't.
week and a half ago, that wedding that we've talked about before, and
Mhm.
and I knew that it was going to be. He's a bartender. Like obviously, it was going to be a huge, huge, big boozing weekend. And Kobe, before I left, was like, "You do not need to tell everyone why you don't drink." And I was like, "Why? Do I not need to tell them?" I mean, I'm not gonna announce it from the DJ's mic, but like when people are like, "Do you want to drink?" Why can't I say no because alcohol kills your brain? And Kobe's like, "You could just say no, thank you." And I'm like,
Right.
or I could
Like,
say no because it kills your brain. But
mm-hmm.
you're gonna say no, thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm gonna say no, thank you, and yeah, I just and I'm like, have fun,
Yeah.
man. Like I'm not.
Okay, so then my friend who did get married, who really, really wants to get pregnant, I was like, well, honestly, no, because it kills your brain, and if you want to get knocked up, that's the last thing that you should be doing. Kobe was Kobe's
I
like, "Why did you
will
say that?" And I'm
if
like, "Well, maybe she's unaware of how damaging it is to her body and her reproductive system." So then I was like, "Well, I thought I was being kind."
if I point out something in
Yeah.
your life, you must be a really dear friend to
Mm.
me. Like that's how
For you to disrupt your
I
peace,
would
you gotta.
only. Yep.
Okay. Okay. I'll watch that.
So I will say things
Yeah.
to people, right? To my friend, my
Yeah.
core group of like, okay, hey, have you thought of
Yeah.
this? Or I'll be like, oh, I'm doing
hmm
this.
Like if I was doing something and you saw it and you were like, Chelsea, do you know that we don't use that brand anymore, that it's bad, that they've been bought out, that it's killing your ovaries, that it's hurting your brain? Like I would literally be so
Yeah.
mad at you if you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
But I don't want
Absolutely.
anybody
Yeah.
else to tell
So,
me. Like you and Brittany,
right.
like because you guys will tell me
Hmm.
and then if I keep doing it, you don't care.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't care.
You're gonna let
No.
me choose to kill my own brain.
Because I'm not also like I've lived long enough to realize like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Like
Mm.
I'm eating a bag of regular potato chips every once in a
Yeah.
while, like, maybe that's her it's just like,
Like let
who
us all have our
cares? Like
20%. And maybe that's hers.
exactly, that's the 80
Yeah.
20, right,
I feel like you're
for
really
sure.
good at that.
Yeah.
I do think it must be that. Like you are the least critical one that I've ever met in the history of time. You don't make your rules everyone else's rules, which most ones tend to do. So it has to be that you have become so secure in yourself. So, they say like the secure path, right? When you feel safe and secure in your environment for a 7, they realize they're doing their best. They become less critical and you become more self-accepting. And I think when you accept yourself and you love yourself, then you can accept and love others, right? And then they're more enthusiastic and optimistic and have more fun and are more spontaneous. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you had no problem dancing around a hotel room, singing in sync and
Yeah,
backstreet
no.
at the top of your lungs with me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
love
a
it.
really good time.
Me too, baby.
It was so good. Y'all should have seen our dance moves. Honestly, we put on a really
Mhm.
good performance for our friends. It was pretty good. Okay,
We did.
so y'all, this is coming out in an email. Today's Thursday. It's coming out in an email. So you guys will get this. But I had asked her for what were 5 things, like basically, what did I say? Let me read it exactly. 3 to 5 products, things, or rituals you can't live without as an Enneagram One. And we're dropping it in the excellence edit this week. So your first one, your nightly reset ritual, you take 15 to 30 minutes right before you head to bed to get your house reset back to square one. I love
Yes.
this.
It's critical, and I don't if what are people
People are
not
not
doing
doing
this?
this.
How do
And
they
here's what I never did this until
okay.
I started until Kobe moved. Well, no, not it wasn't. We weren't even dating until we started dating, and immediately it started. He wasn't even living there, but it was happening. He was making sure, and with him being in school and 87 trillion things at the school, at the high school, he's also in college. I kept noticing some nights he would literally fall asleep on the couch and then we would go to bed and this thing wasn't happening because we weren't doing it together. And then all of a sudden I feel that in a matter of 2 weeks, your house can creep in on you. So why do you
Yeah.
feel like taking that little time, that 15 to 30 minutes before bed to reset your entire house? What does that do for you on a daily, weekly basis? Why is that a non-negotiable?
Because it's a special little gift I give to future
Hmm.
Coop, right?
You do feel better when you wake up in the
It's
morning.
like it's the morning
Yeah.
feeling of instead of waking up feeling behind and
Hmm.
uh,
In a
in a
clutter.
panic right away, not in peace, clutter
Yeah.
everywhere. You wake up and it's like, oh, this is just such a beautiful space to wake
Hmm.
up in. My house, like the dishes are done, everything's reset, and I don't have to pick out my clothes. I don't have to
Yeah. I
think
love it.
for like an
Have you
hour
ever
still.
read the
It's
book
nice.
by Wayne Cordero called Leading on Empty about how today started last night? You'd love it.
No.
It's a tiny little book. Quick read. Number two, sleep is so important to me that I want to cry if I don't get a good night's rest. All my decisions during the day
Mm.
are to set me up to be able to sleep well at night. So you have little to no caffeine during your whole day. She's better than me.
Mhm.
I do get 12. I'm allowed 24 ounces, two 12-ounce cups before noon, but not after. You sauna and exercise. You've recently integrated this.
The sauna is
Yeah,
amazing, by
how
the
hard did I
way.
bother? I went hard about it.
She
I was
did.
annoying.
She borderline
Mhm.
annoying,
I was worth the
and
risk.
I because
Yes,
she
I was
loves
like
me and
this.
knew how.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes, like, I really have to think on something for a while, and so she had to tell me, like, 6
Hmm.
times, and then finally I
Yeah,
was like, "Ah,
I think the
alright,
last
fine."
thing you said to me was, "What are two or three things that you feel?" So we both own this Therasage pop-up sauna, which is really what's best for our life right now, is to have a pop-up sauna that it can sit
Mhm.
very awkward in a room, or it can be folded up and put in a closet. It's so awesome, and you can have your head out, you can sit down in it, whatever. And you had, the very last time that I sent it to you before you ordered it, you were like, "What are some differences that you've seen?" You know, and I do sleep better, and then obviously, like it stays on top of the inflammation. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
I love it.
I remember saying to Kobe, I was like, "I am walking the line."
Yeah,
I
but it
know.
worked, and it was
I
the
just
best.
knew that this would be so good for you. I was very passionate that you would have this in your life. And anybody else is like, "She's not doing this to me." And I'm like, "I don't care that much about you."
Yeah.
If I do, you already have one. Okay, no alcohol. Where did this start for you?
I don't even
Yeah, it's
remember.
been a long time.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, every so often I
Same.
will, like, special
Yeah.
occasion, but love, like, the pomp and circumstance of a nice champagne,
Yeah.
like, just bubbles, but I found kinda some other
Hmm.
fun
Hmm.
non-alcoholic companies that I can make a drink and have the,
Because it
um
disrupts your sleep.
right, it oh, I
Yeah.
know. It's this
Shut up.
Aura
That's what
Ring
got you. The Aura Ring made you realize what
because
happens with your sleep when you're drinking, didn't it?
yes!
Dang it, Aura
Oh,
Ring.
it, like, yells at me, and it's like, "You're a piece." It's like my inner critic in a ring. It's like, "What are you doing
The
with your
fact that you
life?"
and Kelly both have that thing and wear it nonstop. Here's how much of an eight I am. I'm like, I'm not putting that, I am not buying that effing ring. I'm not wearing that effing ring. I do not need one more thing in my life to tell me where I'm falling short. Absolutely not. Like I
Yeah,
won't. No. Y'all can keep
yeah,
your little rings and let it yell at
I
you.
love
And I'm
it,
like, no, we're not doing
I
it.
love it.
Stop late night screen time. What does that mean?
So that's my hardest one.
Hmm. I know I got to get you off the
So,
screen here in a
when
moment.
I sleep when
Yeah.
I know. That's my 8 o'clock cutoff for
Yeah.
screen time. Um, yeah, so I just sleep better if I'm not scrolling or have screen time close to bed, and it's my hardest one because I love to
Yeah. So
scroll.
8 o'clock, the scrolling
Love
stops.
the
Yeah.
yeah, love the ticks and the
Yeah, love the
talks.
ticks and the talks. Okay, so threw up my whole body outside of my body because I looked at the next one that says cold house 60 degrees. WTF. Okay, so first of all, I did read an article 68 to 71 degrees at least for your brain. It's good for your house to be cold. You sleep better, it's better for your brain. I don't even know if I can get my house to 60 degrees in the summer in Arizona. So it helps that you live in Michigan. 60?
Right. So 60 is as of late because we were at maybe 64 at night.
You're fucking
And
cold plunging in your sleep.
then we went to my cousin's house in Chicago and we slept the coldest I've ever been in my life. I was like, Chris, we're like slacking here. We need to go down to 60. And we sleep so much better.
It's hands down. Hands down.
Hands down, it's so
Yes, hands
obvious.
down.
And so
Yeah,
like
I know at least like 68. Like you need at least have it at 68. It's really hard in Arizona because it gets so hot, and then you're paying an actual $1,000 a month, and your AC doesn't stop running. So it is a little tricky here. But even with like Kobe, when I'm traveling and I'm not sleeping with him, he heats the room up so much. I sleep so much better without him because it's colder. Yeah. Yep, right. I get
Right.
that. Okay. Woo. Okay, this next one, I'm a huge advocate of this. You are, I am, Dr. Britt is mouth tape. Mouth tape. Tell the
tape.
people who
Love
don't know
it.
about mouth tape why they need mouth tape.
I think I've been going for 3
Shut up,
years
Rose.
now.
I mean, I've slept with you so many times with mouth tape. Again, guys, when we
Yeah.
travel, we share a room.
Yes. I always think like I go to bed looking like a hostage situation.
Y'all, it's
is
a whole
happening. I
thing.
have the
Let's
mouth
a whole thing. Let's talk through when we're in a hotel. I wish we would have videoed this when we were together in January. What happens? Yeah, what do you
Like, what
do?
do I do?
Because this is the last two things. We
I
got
put it on
mouth
my
tape,
mouth.
eye mask, and white noise. What are what do
Yes.
you do when
So
you just crawled in bed? Now what's gonna happen?
yeah, I on my dress or on my table I have my mouth tape. I say good night,
Mm-hmm.
Chris. I love you. And then I put my mouth tape on or good night,
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea. I'm
Yeah,
putting
she
on my
tells
mouth
me. I'm
tape.
putting it on. Okay.
So I'm not
Yep.
responding anymore verbally. And so I put the mouth tape on and it's like an X. So you still can
Yeah.
breathe like out the sides. It's not like a
Mm-hmm.
claustrophobic thing. I think you do have to get used
And
to
what does it
it.
do for you? What are the benefits?
So vanity wise, like it helps your
Mm-hmm.
jawline.
And your teeth, because your
Um
teeth will shift your bite.
and your
Mm-hmm.
yes. So I actually just confirmed I had at my dentist appointment. I said, "Oh, I mouth tape," and they said, "Oh, that really helps because you're not breathing in and causing tooth
Yep.
decay,
It's tooth decay.
like
It's
constant
like
air."
your jaw formation, your chin, your
Right.
turkey neck thing. It's a lot of
Yep.
vanity reasons.
Yep. But then you also sleep better because you're breathing in through your
Mm-hmm.
nose, and I don't know all the science,
There,
but
there is a huge
I
stat
just
about what it
know.
does for your heart health.
Yeah,
There's
something
something.
great. All I know is I just slap that tape on and I sleep like a baby. And then
You put an eye mask on.
my eye mask that I love. It's cheap
Mm-hmm.
on Amazon. I have one for my suitcase ready to go. I have one by my bed. Chris has
Yep.
his.
We'll drop all the links in the show
Right.
notes.
It's one of the ones where you can open your eyes in it and it's not smushed against your
Oh. And what does that
eyelashes.
help you? Is it
Like I
just
can't
because
wear
it's
a
darker?
yes, and they say you even a night light will disrupt sleep. You should have your room completely black out.
I absolutely believe that because if there is the little Apple TV light, if the little Apple TV light is on in our room,
Mhm.
that tiny itty bitty little icon light, I cannot sleep with that one little ping of light.
Yeah, your subconscious recognizes
Yeah,
it or
I
something
can't
they
do it.
say, and so you have to put tape on all
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
agree.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, and then
And then the white
yeah,
noise, of
which is
course.
you have a fan.
So I have a bigger white noise that's actually a fan in there, so it sounds
Mhm.
more authentic. But I just found what I linked
Are
in
these little tiny
the
pods? I
little
didn't
list.
look at it, but yeah.
It's
Yeah.
teeny tiny. And so that's my carry-on side, like, throw it in my carry-on for work trips. It's great.
Okay. But otherwise, you
It's
do
so
have one
great.
that
Yep.
if we're gone more than 3 or 4 days, if you check a bag, you have one that you travel with.
I have the bigger one that is an actual fan in
Yeah.
there, and it just
She's
sounds
saying
so good.
big, y'all.
I
It's
just
like
love
the
that.
size of your two fists together. It's not giant.
Right.
It's just your
Yeah.
travel one is smaller. It's like
Right.
half a fist. Half a
Half a
fist.
fist,
Okay.
yeah.
So you do all of that, and obviously the eye mask, all that, it's making you sleep, your max capacity. In our bedroom, we have an air purifier, so we sleep to the sound of the air purifier. For some weird reason,
Yes.
it went off in the middle of the night a couple weeks ago, and we both woke up like, what is going on?
Yeah.
What is going on? Because I don't know yeah. There's a whole thing. There's a whole thing. And it really is. Like today starts last night. Like the level of sleep that you're getting. So you're setting your day up every single night, max capacity, perfect sleep to have a perfect day.
Yep. Like I'm trying to get that, perfect Aura Ring score, for
Y'all
sleep.
idiots.
So
Like if the day that I put an Aura ring on my finger, just like, golly snakes. Okay, number 3, glycolic acid. Okay, y'all, for the past 8 years, I was spending so much money on natural
this
deodorants, giving me rashes and making me smell weird. Yes, everybody has this with the natural deodorants. And now y'all are getting this glycolic acid, which we're putting all the links in there, guys. $13 on Amazon. Tell me about this. When did you start
guys
doing this? This is recent.
wouldn't normally talk about
It's a big
armpits,
deal.
like
We're,
especially
we're more we're more
in
holistic.
this.
Right.
Right. It's just not the most glamorous thing to talk about, but this is such a secret that I cannot
Really?
hold back. I am telling everyone. It is so I was spending a ton of money every month because I bought this. So I would have a natural deodorant that it would make my armpits red, but it was fine.
There was a rash, but it
Kinda
was
like,
okay. Don't even worry
yeah,
about it.
whatever. It was fine. But I had to use a like prebiotic spray before the deodorant went on to make sure I didn't smell all day long. So I was spending like $50 a month on my armpits, and that was making me it was making myself and Dave Ramsey
Like this
very
is
upset.
insane. I'm
So
spending $50 a month to be
yeah,
natural
there's
and
so much
yeah.
in this. So I got deep into like basically Reddit or something like,
You're deep in
like
the internet.
finding what are
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
using. And I just kept seeing random people say glycolic acid, game changer, just they wouldn't really elaborate, but it was like, I'm seeing this several times. And then
Glycolic
finally I'm
acid,
like,
like
I'm
that we
just
have in a
gonna try.
face mask?
Yeah. Yep. So it's just a bottle of glycolic acid, and you put it on a cotton round, squeeze a little bit on a cotton round, rub it, morning and night. That's it. I have no rash. I have nothing. Like, it
So
is so
are you
great.
using this?
And you do not
You're doing this and the deodorant.
no deodorant.
And you live
No
Hold
deodorant.
the phone. What? You live in humidity. You are not wearing deodorant?
No
Glycolic
deodorant.
acid. No deodorant.
That's it. My husband, I had
Who
my
is an
husband
athlete?
start it.
He's an
He was very
athlete
yeah.
at a
He's
very
very
fancy,
skeptical.
expensive golf club. He can't be having sweaty pits.
That's why he was so nervous. He's like, I can't be in a lesson and be smelly.
He's a
and blah, blah,
PGA
blah, blah, blah.
golfing. What is it? Say what he really is before I mess it up.
He's the director of instruction. He's a PGA
He has his PGA card
golf pro. Yeah.
and he teaches. Is that how that works? I don't really know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Teaches golf
It
at a
is.
very fancy golf club.
But people think that he's
No,
not on tour.
he teaches. But
Different.
he is the director
Yes.
where the Live Tour is coming. It's a big deal.
Right.
If you
The
don't watch Full
championship.
Swing, it
Live
doesn't make any
championship.
sense to you. But if you do, it's a really big deal. And he does. I'm gonna tell Kobe this. I'm like,
And he can't believe it. He can't believe it. And so then I went to my brother, and I'm like, I'm gonna challenge you to do something, because he was still
and it's
using
$13. You guys can't even argue about this.
Great. Just try it. Just try it, and then you'll thank me later.
What?
Seriously, it's so great. Yeah.
A little
My brother
swipey with
can't believe
glycolic
it.
acid twice a day on the pits, and
And then my brother was like, he's like, I wanted to test how long it
because it's not that you're not
lasted
sweating, you should
without.
sweat. Well, he must not be sweating insanely.
Right.
'Cause it's bad. It's
No,
bad
he like
if it's clogging your pores and you're not sweating. If your deodorant's keeping you from sweating, you're actually clogging your lymphatic system and you're just helping yourself get cancer quicker. So let's be real on why you should not be stopping your sweating. That is
right.
not a good thing. We can lump that in with birth
Exactly.
control.
Like,
That's a
I
whole
think
different episode. But anyways,
we need to embrace the
embrace the
sweat,
sweat
like,
because it's your body
embrace the sweat.
detoxing. But he's
Yes,
out there on the
exactly,
golf
like,
course and he's not worried about like pitting out like a crazy person.
I mean, I think maybe once we get into the height of summer, he's gonna be like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It has not been tested for the height of
Yeah.
the summer
Yeah.
yep.
I'm here for
So,
it. I'll order it tonight. I'm
but
down. We're going glycolic acid
yeah,
around here, deep in the desert, right before we get 120 degrees in Arizona.
exactly. Let's give
Let's
this
let's
the
freaking go.
ultimate
We're gonna
test.
test it. We're gonna keep y'all posted on the gram about how this is working out. She's gonna be in
Yep.
humid Michigan, where all the water and the lakes are. I'm gonna be in the desert, where there are no lakes and no water. That's just kidding. We do actually have lakes and water, but it is very hot.
Yes.
Really?
Yep, those are my, like, things that I'm doing
Okay.
right now,
Okay.
and I love it.
Well, y'all, that will come out in the Excellence Edit email. If you don't get the Excellence Edit email, you should go to chelseadbc.com/excellence edit opt-in, something like that. Look at it on my website. You can grab it. We'll send it to you. We'll also put it out on the gram, all the fun places. We'll put these links in the show notes because people got to be able to get those. And in
Mhm.
closing, what is one piece of advice or permission that you would love to give? I want to make this twofold. I would love for you to give Enneagram Ones a piece of permission, but then also what piece of advice? So, Enneagram Ones, a piece of permission on just being a one, right? That permission to like take a deep breath. But then
Mhm.
also, what advice would you give someone who is looking to understand and embrace an Enneagram One in their life?
I think it goes back to that inner critic
Oh,
for both. It's just a
yeah,
hard thing
yeah.
to live with, right? And so learning more about their inner critic and understanding that, I think goes a long way for both parties in the
Yeah.
relationship, right? So, give them grace because even though they're may not be coming across as giving you any grace
Mm.
whatsoever, the more grace you can give them, they'll go into their 7 more and lighten up. I really feel like
Mm.
I have surrounded myself with people that give me a lot of grace and a lot of permission to
Now I know
be
why
my
we're
one.
friends. She's like, no one is more of a crazy, outspoken hot mess express than Chelsea. So I'm just gonna be her friend because then I feel so good.
Oh, no. No, that's not
A
true.
little bit,
That's
no.
no.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd say just know find out more about their inner
Mm,
critic, ask
yeah.
them about it, and give them grace, and then it's the same advice for the ones, it's like, I know it's loud, I know it feels like everything's wrong all the time and you're not
Mm,
enough, but you are,
yeah.
and do what you can to and surround yourself with people that help
Yeah.
silence that
Like
nasty
give
inner
that
critic.
grace or help you find it
Mhm.
when you're being really hard. What,
Right.
okay, so I do have that one more thing. So let's say you have a friend who's a one and they are in an absolute critic shame spiral. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mhm.
How it's like, do you need to sit in the well with them and let them kind of do it? Or how do you, it's like I want to be able to sit in the well with my one friends. I don't want to deflect and be like, you're being so hard on yourself, stop being so hard on yourself, because I don't think that's always helpful.
Right.
That doesn't
Doesn't
help. So
help.
what do you
No.
do? Like, do you give them time? Do you like let them go so far and then catch them? Like, what would you say for that?
I would say maybe ask them about, like, what does it feel like? What are you feeling right now? Or,
Mm,
what is your mind telling you?
hmm.
And just
Yeah.
being
Yeah,
curious about it.
absolutely.
And because they probably haven't articulated it ever. And they might not even know it's happening in their brain.
Yeah. Mm,
And then once they articulate,
mhm,
wow, I do have this voice and monologue in my head going on that is so
mm.
harsh. It might just be an awareness they need
Yeah.
to let it go a little
Maybe that
bit,
is the ultimate
to
blind spot
quiet
of a
down.
one is they don't actually realize how loud their inner critic has become on the outside of their body.
Absolutely. That can absolutely
Yeah.
happen. I've seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thank you for coming and
absolutely.
just
Love it.
being honest and vulnerable and out there and about what it's like to be a one and to navigate that and giving us our tips for how to because that's I think the coolest thing is it's like you can be honest about where as ones, chill the inner critic, but then also I think the greatest thing that you guys bring to the world is you do bring that never ending raising the bar, striving towards that perfection, seeing where things could be elevated to the next level, like mouth tape and glycolic acid and our armpits. So
Mhm.
thank you for thank you for
Yeah.
coming back.
Yep, we're making armpits great again, Chels.
we we There you go, y'all. We are making armpits great again. Yeah. If you don't know that, you should
Awesome.
not be
Thanks for
putting
having
aluminum and stopping sweating in your pits. Make
Yeah,
armpits great again.
yeah.
All right, All Things Excellence
Yeah.
fam. Thank you so much for listening. You guys know um, next week we are having some extra fun special guests on our midweek episode. And then we will be bringing twos in our Enneagram 2 next Friday, coming to teach you all things the helper. So until next time, All Things Excellence fam, thanks for listening.